Hi guys, welcome back to Tom Mods Things. Today we're working back on the maxpower 106 and we've got some sort of major things to do today. As you saw in the last episode, we managed to get it up in the air, got all the wheels off, which I'll skip back to now because on that last episode I kind of gave up on the wheel situation. So we took a day out and then just attacked it the next day really, and kind of everything went plain sailing. It was lovely. So what are we doing? So as we've seen on previous episodes, the suspension on this is absolutely shot. So what we're going to do is we are going to spend today stripping off all of the old suspension. We're probably going to get the oil changed as well, because that's something that we've been meaning to do. We've got a new filter, we've got some new oil for it. So at least when we start it up, it's not using 10-year-old oil that's been sitting around in there, so that could well be interesting and give us a little bit of an indication as to the healthiness of the engine. So as I'll show you. Alright, be aware it's not looking great down here at the moment. So as you can see, what we've got is some very rusty spring shocks, just a lot of stuff that needs a lot of attention. We've got a bit of corrosion, surface rust over here as well, which we're going to deal with. Not this thing, we're not dealing with that necessarily right now, but I'm talking mainly about stuff that's just up here at the moment, which is kind of just all flaking the paint away. So what we're going to do is get a wire brush, kind of grind all of that back, treat it, and then spray back over the top. And then there's a few other areas where, like you can just see there, where the wheel has been touching. And so this is going to be the main thing. So we're going to rip out all of the suspension, take out hopefully the lower wishbones, drive shafts, all of the brakes as well, because we need to clean all of those up, and then start totally afresh. What we'll probably do is get to a point in this episode where we've undersealed all of the arches as well, so we'll go and pick some of that up and we'll spray it all in here after we've treated all of the sort of slightly rusty spots, which should hopefully make it look a hell of a lot better. We'll have to tuck all the wires up and stuff as well. I mean, there's just loads to do. There's just loads to do. So so that's what we're going to crack on with and get on with that now. Right, so we've done, removed the old crusty brake caliper off the back. So now what we can look at doing is undoing these two sort of retaining bolts, and then that should pull the disc straight off the hub. Having a little bit of problems with the, as you just saw in that short time lapse, with the bolts for the anti-roll bar drop links. Basically it's spinning the shaft. I'm trying to get mole grips on the back of it to keep it from moving, but it's just spinning in the mole grips and causing it to burr off anyway, because they're just so corroded. So just gonna have another stab at this, but definitely getting there, and it's gonna be nice when all of this is off and there's some nice new shiny parts in it. Right, so as you can see, disc is now off, exposing the hub. Hub nut has also been loosened as well, which is great. So that was one thing that I was thinking that would be a bit of a pain, but quick bit of impact and job done. So now we are still working through. We're just going to try and get these drop links off, and then we can disconnect the lower control arm and then or the lower wishbone, and then we should be able to drop this whole piece out. Not sure, I think the drive shafts just slide in, so we should be able to just slide those back out, I think, with the nut and stuff. So that should be the whole assembly out.
A few moments later.
Right, so we gave up on the drop links. We're going to replace them anyway, so just whip out the angle grinder and just ping them off, and then we can cut them straight off of this strut, which we're not going to be using anyway because we're going to replace it with some coilovers. So easiest thing, just get rid of it, can't be arsed, job done. And then we can replace and look at the anti-roll bar part of it afterwards. So now centre nut's off, clinch nut underneath here for holding the lower wishbone in is also off, so that should come out with a bit of persuasion. So I think everything's kind of in place now for being able to remove this whole assembly. So it's probably going to be a little bit of a time lapse of me just bashing this around a bit to try and get it out, but I'll catch you up once it's off. Right, so there we go. That was an absolute pig. So strut now on the floor, and we are left with what we were contending with. So as you can see on that track rod end, I've just cut it off. I haven't got a ball separator, so we're going to replace them anyway. So just thought, hey, let's just get the old spinny boy out and just lop it straight off. And so we're going to need to remove that track rod end on that bit anyway. Then we're going to need to remove these lower wishbones and stuff as well. The drive shaft's looking a bit crusty as well, so we might end up replacing that too. So there's going to be a lot of bits to pull off. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to try and get the track rod end disconnected, and then after that we are going to start taking out some of the miscellaneous brackets, like for the brakes and stuff. So we strip all this off because obviously when we underseal we want to have everything cleaned, and then we're going to try our best not to spill gearbox oil all over the floor, but we're going to try and prop up these drive shafts and keep them in a relatively sensible position, and then yeah, just work through all of this stuff around here and clean it all up. Right, there we go, track rod end taken off, as you can just see up there in that corner, my big fat fingers in the way. So yeah, what I ended up doing was actually literally just cutting the end of it off, wherever it's gone. I've absolutely totally lost it. I mean, in all of this rusty goodness on the floor. But yeah, effectively this end was the bit that was in there, so literally just lopped the end off, and because this nut was totally seized onto the shaft of the threads, basically just impacted it straight off, and then it pulled the whole thing out. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that I can potentially do the same on the other side without backing the nut all the way out and then needing to do something a little bit bodgery with trying to get then a cut stud out of it. So anyway, looking pretty good, just been sort of spraying everything a bit with PB Blaster, absolutely love the stuff, and then we can start to scrape away any of the rust. Treat it with some rust prevention and conversion stuff, and then basically we'll just underseal all over the inside of this. We'll probably mask up certain things like maybe the Lambo door hinges, and we'll get some of the cabling and stuff out of the way, so don't really want it all over that. And then we're going to disconnect the brake lines for these calipers and take those off, because these will need refurbing as well. So we're going to take them out, get all the pads out, make sure everything's moving as it needs to, and then basically we'll probably spray them silver for the moment, just to keep it sort of a normal colour, a normal sort of basic colour, until we decide what we're kind of doing with the rest of the car, which is obviously coming along quite well at the moment as well. So I'm going to just, there's no point me filming exactly the same thing for the other side, so I'll fly through, get the other side complete, and then I'll come back once all of it is off. Right, so that's the second side all done. It's a little bit easier now that I knew what I was doing, but looking up in here, looking much the same as the other side, maybe a little bit more corrosion in places, but nothing that we can't sort out. What we did see is that the drive shaft boot had split and come off with its little, apologies for the noise, clamp, so obviously it leaked all of its lovely juices all over the lower wishbone and everything else as well. So anyway, so we had to clear all of that up. What are we going to do now? So we need to do oil change on it. So sump just under here, sump plug, you can just sort of just about make out there on the back side. So what we'll do is we will get an oil pan to collect it so it doesn't go all over the floor, and we will whip that bolt off and empty out all of the old oil. something we're going to do as well is actually on the Porsche today as well. So some of you will have seen on my Instagram, but we have a sub box, which is this one here that we nabbed off of eBay, fairly cheap. So it's for a 12-inch sub. It's got a glass panel that's fallen out, obviously, so that needs to go back in for where the amplifier fits. Then we also picked up this cheap amplifier. This was a bit of a, I mean, it's just one of those things. You always make mistakes. I saw it on eBay, thought, oh, that's fairly cheap, and then just put a bid in, and then realised when I looked a little bit deeper into the ad, it said does not power on. Perfect. Okay, so now I've just got a paperweight at the moment, so we're going to open it up, see whether it's just a capacitor or something that we can just unsolder and then solder a new one on. But it came in its original box and stuff, so it looks like it's been looked after. So anyway, we'll maybe use this, maybe not. And then we also need to fit these JVC speakers in the Porsche as well, because the door speakers have blown up, so we need to sort that out as well. You know, sort of posh car, but all the bits keep breaking because it's owned by a moron. So yeah, so what we'll do is we'll go in the back, we'll take out all of the building materials, because yes, it's full of concrete and tiles and other various things that I've been collecting in it for the house renovations. So we should get all of that out first, and then we can then lay this box in and see whether it's going to fit or not. Right, so we just got it in, and crazy enough, it's actually not that mad inside. Alright, so this is what we're playing with. Now the boot actually does close, which is pretty mad, even though it does poke up a little bit, but I would say for fitment, I mean, it fits in the back. Definitely going to struggle maybe to get access to that with it in. But yeah, I reckon that might actually work, which is crazy as it sounds. So yeah, I think what we'll probably do is, I think it can probably, yeah, it can sit down a little bit more, but we'll just need to adjust the rear edge of it. So I think what we'll do is we'll adjust the rear side, might even take some of this trim out just to see, and then what we'll do is we'll pack all around and make a new fascia plate to make it all smooth off, so it looks like it should be in the back of this. But yeah, for cheap pickup, I think that actually looks pretty damn good. So there we go, this is the mistake eBay purchase. So what we're going to do is we're going to whip the old back off. I can't smell any burning, but who knows what's going on. I mean, the outside of it's actually pretty good, to be honest. Everything's there and intact. It's got all of the terminal points all in there. The only thing it is missing at the moment is the fuse, because I pulled that out and it came out in 2 pieces. So that could well be the problem, which is madness that they didn't think to check the fuse before saying that it didn't work. But anyway, so what we're going to do is we're just going to whip the back open. Yeah, I guess whip the back open, and we're going to have a look inside and see what's going on. Right, so we've got in there, sort of having a quick look around at capacitors. They all look good, I think. I can't see any obvious signs as to why they've split. Obviously the MOSFET's caked on there. I don't know whether that's standard or not. Doesn't look like it should be standard, so that might well be some of the issue. But nothing's screaming out at me to say, yes, I'm burnt out, I'm a little bit screwed, this is why I'm not working. So it could well be that it's something as stupid as they just didn't check or replace the fuse in it, which that would be crazy. But it happens, it does definitely happen. So anyway, so what we're going to do is we're just going to have to look, see if I can find a 30 amp fuse anywhere, and replace it, and then we're just going to rig it up to life support, and then see whether it turns on or not. Right, so here we go, moment of truth. Ghetto modded effectively the remote straight into the live. Got 2 random cables, totally the wrong colours, but anyway, do what we can. So what we're looking for is this little power light just in here. It should hopefully go green if, with any luck, we have got ourselves right. So let's just make sure I'm on the right one. So on the negative, and then coming on the positive now. Boom. Oh, look at that. Epic. Oh, protected. Okay, maybe not. Oh no, that's alright. I think it's just it was shorted. It's shorted. Oh no, it does go on right. Okay. So So that is showing that there's something not quite friendly going on the inside of this. So it comes on and then it goes straight to the protected mode, which would mean that there is some form of short circuit on here. So what I think, well, these MOSFETs cannot be as sort of badly thermal pasted as they are on here. So someone, I think, has definitely been on in here doing something or another. So what we'll probably do is we will undo all the fixings on the outside that keep all the connectors kind of where they're positioned on the outer skins. So we'll flip the outsides off and then we'll drop the bottom out, and then what it might do is uncover maybe what the underlying issue is, which is maybe some corrosion on the underside of it, because if you think with the way that this is sat in a car, it would be sat the other way up, so as we see at the moment, so the base would be across this bit here with all the vents, and then the top of it, which is the bit that shows the boss and sort of the logos and everything, would be at the top. So anything that then seeps in through the top potentially could then come in under here, or vice versa really. So I think that's probably what we're going to do. Might give it a miss for the moment and do that another time, because as with sort of electrical stuff, and some of you will know, literally you can delve into the simplest of things and it just blows up into this massive job and takes up all your time. So I'm going to set aside some time separately to delve into that, and at the same time what we'll do is we'll do the adjustments that we need to make on the sub box that I just showed you for the back of the Cayman. So that can all get sorted, and then we might probably end up doing the speakers and stuff at the same time, because I'm aware that this video is probably getting quite long at the moment. So we'll do like an audio video for the Cayman effectively, and we'll do some LED lighting and bits and bobs in that as well. Right, let's see what lovely juices come out of this thing then. So I mean, it is coming out, which is, I am incredibly surprised that this sump plug came out as easy as that. Just going to watch how this squirts all over the floor. No, we're all good. Oh, now that, I don't know if you can see it, is particularly thick and black. Beaut. Right. And of course I dropped the sump plug bolt and it blocks the little hole in this, so I'm going to have to go diving a bit, I think. Yeah, there we go. Beaut. Right, so what we definitely want as well is the new bolt. So the one that came with it is sort of, it's not too bad, but obviously as they tend to with changing the oil on any cars, I always replace some bolt, because well, this is mega sort of corroded really on the inside and stuff anyway, but it's just going to make my life easier. So we will have a quick look, see if Euro Car Parts has any for sale that we can go and pick up today. If not, we'll have to order it online. We'll pop this one back in, literally just finger tight, just to stop it from leaking, and then we can then fill it back up with some lovely fresh oil, which I'm sure is well overdue with the aroma that's coming off of this current oil that's coming out the engine at the moment. So yeah, that'll be the next thing to do. What we do also have though is a new oil filter, so I'm pretty sure I've got a nice oil filter socket. Yeah, that'll do. Oh, actually, maybe not. I've got another one in here somewhere. There's another one. That one any better? Yeah, that one's better. Right, so we're going to try and whip the old oil filter off, and then at least we can put this one back on in its place. We'll have a look in the filter as well and see if there's any craziness going on there. We might even cut it open and have a look and see what sort of life this has had. Yeah, scrap that. Basically, the two things that we've got here fit this one perfectly. However, the one on the car at the moment can't get a good purchase on it. It just slips. So we're going to have to get one of the ones with a sort of rubber oil. Oh, you know what I mean. One of those things with the rubber band thing around it with the two handles, and then you effectively make a wrench out of it. So yeah, so we'll probably go and pick one of those up at the same time as getting a few other bits. Like the sump plug and stuff, so we're just going to let it drain out the bottom of this now, and then afterwards, clean the lens. That's better. And then after, obviously, then we can fill it back up with some nice fresh oil, which means that when we start it and stuff, we don't have to worry so much as kind of what we were doing previously, which was when we started it up, not knowing kind of the oil and stuff that had been in it. Right, back on the GoPro again. So here we are with the sort of inner arch sort of started to clean up. Got this area here which we're going to treat now, just because it was getting in the way. What we've done is we've just pulled out the drive shaft as well. These are just slotted in on this side, the other side's got bolts, I believe, unless I've totally cocked that up. Fingers crossed not. So anyway, so no idea if this is the right way to do it, but hey, this is what we're doing. So pulled it out because it was wriggling around anyway and leaking, as you can see, all over the floor. So obviously it's now emptying all the gearbox oil, so we'll need to top this up before we properly drive it, but it's probably a good thing to do anyway, because as you say, we don't know how long this car's been sitting. Like, really, it's definitely been over 10 years, but we don't know to the extent of that. So I mean, it looks okay, so we might be able to clean this up and reuse it. We will see what we can do, but yeah, so just finishing up this side now. So now we can treat these patches around here. There's an area around here which we're going to grind off, and then we can underseal it. Right, just to show what we've done. So this is the crust stuff that's on there at the moment. I've already done one coat. This is now second coat around the seam join. Just literally just lathered it on around it. Effectively what will happen is it should turn blue if it's sort of in contact with rust, and starts to convert it. And so yeah, as you can see here, it's all ever so slightly blue, which is a good thing. So what we'll do is I think we've got to wait 3 hours for this sort itself out, and then I've done the other side already as well. So as soon as that's finished, then we can sort of sand it all back, then we can add some primer over the top of it, and then we can underseal it, and it'll be a job's a good one. So yeah, so basically what we've done today is we've stripped all the suspension off both sides. Also done the rear and the background as well. Just tidied all of that up, so that when we come to underseal the whole car, everything is kind of protected. What we will do now is we're going to go off, we're going to go and get some rust preventer and also some rust converter. We're going to coat all of the areas on the inside that are kind of, as you saw from the video as we've gone along, there's a few areas of rust where we're going to need to sort that out. So we're going to convert it, sand it back to bare metal, then we're going to coat it in some prevention, primer, and then underseal over the top of it, and then that should totally tidy up all of that. Where we've got the old suspension crusty parts sitting here, we're going to need sort of new bits of everything really. I think we'll just go the whole hog rather than try and retain any of these pieces, because I think pretty much all of it's past its best. So we'll look for some new hubs. Discs we can get, they're pretty straightforward. Calipers, we'll try and tidy them up, but I need to just make sure that the piston is not totally seized on them, so that will dictate whether or not we keep those or not. And then suspension wise, there was saw on my Instagram a hydro kit that came up for sale for a 106. Now while that would be pretty epic, to be honest, on this car in particular, would mean we'd be able to real tuck those Venoms when we get them. It's a lot of money. So I think for stopgap what we're going to try and do is we'll just pick up some cheap coilovers, stick them in some hubs, and just have some sort of fun in it, because kind of really what we're trying to do is we need to get it on the road as quickly as possible, so that it can be out and about, and it's much easier, in my opinion anyway, to build a car like this once you're out and driving it, because then certain things kind of rear themselves as or at least come to light that is an issue, and sometimes you don't know about those until you really start to drive it around. So it'd be good to get that done as quickly as possible. Obviously we're looking for a windscreen. Still need to pick that up. I know I keep saying that every episode. I will get there and I will get one. It's just difficulty finding somebody that can either deliver it or is close enough that I can go and pick it up and not completely waste the whole weekend. We are making progress on the TSW Venoms. As you saw in the last video, that was the decision that was made, which is epic. So awesome to everyone that voted for that. Obviously everyone that voted for other things, don't worry, obviously there's loads of other bits on the car, much like we did with the wing mirrors, where you can vote and get the things that you want on this car as well. So looking for Venoms, I've had a couple of sort of nibbles as to kind of some sets that are around in 17s. Unfortunately one of them turned out advertised as 17s, sent me a few more pictures, tyres were 16-inch. Yeah, okay, right, fine, we'll have 17-inch then on there, but anyway, it doesn't matter. And then we've got somebody else that is hopefully going to be sending us some pictures tomorrow of a set of 17s that they've got in the garage. Not 100% sure whether it's the correct PCB, but depending on the offsets, we can work it out, because I wanted to space the wheels that are on here at the moment would have looked slightly better if they were spaced out slightly. So if we can work out the offsets and get it to sit correctly, then putting some 20 to 25 mil adapters on there might actually work out for us. So that would be good. And so yeah, other than that, it's just going to be progress really on all the underpinnings and getting all the nice shiny bits under it, so that it kind of matches kind of all the crazy stuff that we're doing to the outside as well. Yes, cheers all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Sort of greatly appreciated, and also, yeah, it's just great to have you guys along, to be honest, because it's nice to know that people are interested in this sort of stuff. So anyway, so yeah, cheers everybody, and I will catch you guys on the next one. See you later.